Well, hello, and welcome to Spark Your Story podcast. Thank you for joining us this evening. And we definitely have a good show to talk about. And, what I want to do is just share personal stories with the people that feel comfortable sharing their stories. Because, a lot of these stories that you're going to hear on this podcast can get a little personal. And this subject is very near and dear to me because I struggle with it myself. And, I'll indulge more in that towards the end. But I brought a special guest on who I've met in recovery. And, you know, he came through tonight and he wants to share his story. And, personally, I believe it takes a lot of strength and courage and belief in yourself to be able to share a story like this to people that are out there who they don't know. And so just remember that, show some respect. And I really want you to realize what it's like on this end. So without further ado, I brought in Robert, my main man, and he is going to share his story. Go for it, Robert.
Hi, I'm Rob. I'm a addict alcoholic. I have 27 days today, um, and this is my story. Um, I came from a very good family with good family values. I had a very good moral upbringing. I was born in 1990. I came from a good family, lived on a cul-de-sac in East Northport, went to a great school district. Uh, I have one older brother and a younger sister. My older brother kind of introduced me into experimenting a little bit, and I kind of started seeking it on my own recognizance in school, trying to fit in, trying to fill his shoes. I started smoking weed maybe at 15, uh, doing hanging out with the hippies, playing hacky sack, playing guitar and all that stuff. I quit the football team and started smoking pot. I started experimenting with, the party drugs, LSD, mushrooms, ecstasy, and pretty much I graduated into being a full blown drug addict. Um, I didn't graduate school. I went to I didn't go to prom. I just went to the prom party and I brought a bunch of drugs with me. Um, I was maybe 17 and I was going off a bad path. I used to grow up with my family and I was a good kid and I was, best friends with my grandfather. I used to go over his house every weekend, go crabbing, fishing, clamming, drive the boat, go in the water, help him with anything he needed with the boat, help him with the barbecue, anything like that. We were very close for many years. And I started smoking pot and hanging out with the wrong crowd and deviating from hanging out with him. And one day he told me, you're going to hang out with your friends. I'm going to hang out with mine and I'm not going to see you again. And that weekend he ended up having a stroke and passing away. So that was really hard on me. And I ended up really evolving into self medicating a lot more at a young age because I kind of lost my best friend. So I kind of created new friends and started graduating into more drug use and self medications and whatnot, prescription pills, opiates, and all that fun stuff. Um, Soon, I started going to school for architecture at Island Drafting Institute, and I learned how to draw blueprints. And I graduated by the nick of my teeth. I got a D, and I started getting into opiates a lot more heavily. Roxy's came out. They were very popular back in the early 2000s. I started doing a lot of Roxy's. I was sniffing them, smoking them, eating them, and I would go to my friend's house and we'd nod out. I'd miss dates, I'd miss family events, and I thought it was cool. Um, then Roxy's started, to take over my life. Um, I They used to get so expensive to the point where they were almost $50 for one, and I was doing three at a time, almost nine a day. Um, I mean, it got to the point where I used to get so sick, I would throw up in a cup, and I didn't want to waste a Roxy, so I fucking drink it. It was pretty bad. Um, I would nod out and burn holes in my shorts. I would get sick, pass out, uh, be completely out of it at family and former events. Just a complete walking disaster. And my family started noticing, watching me kill myself slowly. And I was getting interventions left and right, but I wasn't listening to anybody. I would get some clean time here and there. I've gone to Peterson and Craig since I was 15. I went to Seafield. I've gone to LICR. I've stayed at the LICR Sober House for a year. I've always made good friends in the trenches and always came out as the party boy on top. But Roxy's really took me for a spin. And when Roxy started getting hard to get and more expensive, I started experimenting with heroin. Uh, I was sniffing heroin, and I have shot up a couple times. And what I learned is that heroin and Xanax don't go together. I got too fucked up at a drug dealer's house, and he pretty much carried me to my front doorstep and left me there. And my brother and sister brought me upstairs and hid me from my parents and put me in the shower and tried to cold shock wake me up. I was purple, so they took me to the hospital. I overdosed. That was one out of four overdoses I had. Heroin. Um, I would overdose from heroin, still have some in my pocket, go to a inpatient rehab and do some more while I was waiting to go in. I was a complete mess when it came to opiates. Around 2018, I went to a place called Any Length Recovery to get my life in order. I spiraled out of control. I had a job at National Grid. My family worked really hard to help me get that position. And one day I went to work and I did a speedball of cocaine and heroin and acted like a fool when I went to work during an OSHA meeting. And I lost that job. Then I decided to go to Any Length Recovery to quit opiates indefinitely. And it was a whole year program. And it's kind of a program where you go to, either to beat a charge or to really get sober. And I went there, I guess, for both, to beat um, my disease and to get some sober time under my belt because I couldn't do it alone. I worked at a pallet company for several months. I had a sponsor. Um, I Um, a lot of this is hard to talk about, but it also feeds my ego, so it's not really, you know. I hooked up with my sponsor's girlfriend when I was in South Carolina, and me and him had a falling out. Um, then I stayed there for about a year. I had a year sober time. I made friends with everybody. I had a nickname called Heat Stroke. Um, then again, it was like being the most popular kid at like, one of the worst places is really not anything to brag about. And so I graduated from any length recovery after being there for a year. The first thing I did was I went to Outback Steakhouse with my father and I had a beer. Um, then I moved to Florida and I went to an outpatient treatment called Perspectives, and I did sober living for a little bit. I was doing everything wrong in sober living. I was sneaking girls in the house. I was uh, sneaking out past curfew. I was um, I was breaking all the rules. And it got to the point where one of my roommates really got under my skin and I wiped my ass with his toothbrush. That's how bad it got. Um, Anyways, long story short, I got kicked out of that house and I ended up getting a staying at my grandmother's place, which my dad was fortunate to let me do. And as usual, I took advantage of everything. Um, I met a cocaine dealer who was 10 minutes away from my grandmother's house, and I switched seats on the Titanic, as they call it. I stopped doing opiates and I started experimenting with cocaine. I started doing it every weekend, and then it became uh, a habit to where I started doing it every other day. And if I didn't do it, I was sweating, I was sick, I was throwing up. I couldn't do anything. And it was a very expensive habit, thousands of dollars. And I was staying at my father's place, not paying him any rent, and taking advantage and using cocaine heavily. Then I met a girl, and we had a a fun time together. We experimented with ecstasy, LSD, and mushroom chocolates, and um, she became very close to me. Um, I didn't know she was married until later. And after that, I found out 2 weeks later she was pregnant with my son, Jameson, who was born on my birthday. But, anyways, I had um, I had a relationship with this girl, and she was more of a drinker. I was more of a drugger, and then us two together, whenever we wanted to have fun, was a train wreck of you know total proportions. And I didn't want to live like that anymore after my son was born. So I wanted to move up here. Um, I didn't want him to see the party version of dad. I didn't want him to get to know the bad side of dad, the dad that overdosed 4 times and had to walk home in a hospital gown from the hospital. The dad who, stole money from his parents to feed his addiction. The dad who lied and manipulated to get whatever he wanted. You know, um, I really wanted to change when I had a son. So I wanted to move back up here. We moved back up here. We stayed with my parents for a little bit. And the drinking got a little out of control with me and my ex. She's a bit smaller than me, so she could drink me under the table, but if she drinks too much, she'll black out. She was a blackout drinker. And it got to the point where me and her sometimes would argue, around the child, and it wasn't good. Um, we ended up drinking a lot to the point where the police started getting called to our house. Me and her shared a two-bedroom apartment over in Coram, and it was very expensive. It was a $40,000 a year just to live there, and we were drinking every other night, smoking pot, and I kept thinking to myself, this isn't, how I wanted to be a dad. This isn't how I wanted to, well, going back to my old ways, self-medicating. I felt like I wasn't making enough money, and I kept reaching for these jobs that were way too out of my caliber and were very hard to keep. So I would just always be looking for the next job and using that salary to jump to the next higher salary. And that was my mission. Um, I I started um, being late for work, calling out sick, not coming in. Um, I started being absent from work, and um, Cherie and I's drinking started getting heavily a lot worse. We would start to argue. We would both eventually get physical with each other, and it got to the point where we had to be separated. And um, yeah, it got really ugly. I lost my son, my apartment, my my job, and my dog all the same day, and I was very depressed. And I was experimenting with nitrous, mushrooms, and marijuana to cope with the pain. Due to the heavy self-medication, I've lost memory. I have scatterbrains. I'm very forgetful. I can't focus, and I'm not even close to the person I was before. I'm going to Victory now since July. I tried to kill myself after I lost my son. I ended up in the psych ward twice, and then I ended up in a 28-day program. Now that I'm at Victory, I have 27 days to date, and I'm trying to move forward on a better path so I could be a best version of myself, so I could be a better father. And that's all I got.
Wow. Um, Listen, man, from the bottom of my heart, thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
I, for one, understand how hard it is to tell your story. And I know how much courage it takes.
I appreciate
Um,
it.
so thank you for having the courage to maybe help someone else out there who's struggling. And for us, even a minute clean is a miracle.
Yeah.
So, dude, you're a walking miracle, yo. So,
Thank you.
God bless you on your 27 days, man. And may it keep going. Obviously, we do have the addiction in common, but we also have the recovery in common.
Yes.
And I remember, I mean, I have almost 5 years now, which yay for me. I can say yes, that's fucking awesome.
Yes.
You
Congratulations.
know, um, I always remembered how I felt as a little kid. And from a very early age, right? I always felt different. Always felt different, you know? But I also knew that I had that spark in me, right? I knew that, but for some reason, people say, like what came first, the addiction or the mental health issues, And for me, I can answer that question because when I look back at how I really felt as a kid, you know, I always felt different. I felt I felt like I never belonged. I and I held that with me for so long that for so long I always wanted to be accepted. You know, like I said, I grew up, my mom raised me, my brother, and my sister. Um, I have a different father, okay? Um, and I always felt like the outsider. Like again, like I know where everything came from and all those insecurities when I thought about that, like my dad wasn't around, I felt like I was the cause of that. Like what is so wrong with me? But I have to say that one of the the moments that I remember when I was young is how how I knew that I wanted to get out a piece of my soul, and the only way I could do that, and the only way that I did do that, as a little kid, was singing and dancing. I had that spark within me at a very early age to be in front of the camera, to be, you know, I always believed whatever the future holds, it holds, right? But I always
Yeah.
believed that people are gonna know who the hell I am. Like I still think that, and like I'm not narcissistic or anything, but like, dude, like I always felt like I was destined for something great, but in the grips of addiction, I kind of lost that drive, you know,
Hmm.
because you lose who you were, what your dreams were, what you dreamed of. It takes over everything, addiction. You know, it takes
You get
over your
this
mind,
false
body,
sense of
and
self.
soul. Yeah.
Exactly. You get this false sense of self, and it makes you feel so good, and you do it for
Mhm.
so long
Yep.
that your limbic system is telling you to do the wrong things to make you feel better, and it's just completely wrong. And
Right.
eventually, it stops working. And like you said, like you feel indifferent, and the only way to change that is to make yourself feel better, you
Mhm.
know. And
Oh
I
yeah.
used to love singing too. We should do karaoke,
Oh, for sure.
you know.
For sure. Yo, we'll have
Yeah.
a karaoke night on this podcast. You're like, yo,
I'm
who wants to join our karaoke night, man? Let's go.
I'll do Home Sweet
Yo,
Home.
Denny, and you in? Wait. You're muted.
I'm in. Yeah, I'm in.
Yes, she was muted.
Oh,
You're in. You're in. You can
yeah,
so
I'm
all
in.
right. So carry.
Karaoke, why not?
All right. All
You
right.
know, when you were talking, I was thinking a lot too. You know that maybe I didn't know like I have an addiction problem. When I think about it, it's like through the doctors, my medications that I do take, a lot of them, if I didn't take, I would become sick, like the psychiatric medications, things like that.
Yeah.
Like they do give a lot of medicines to people, medications.
They
You got
Uh,
trial
do.
and error.
They do. It you know, it's not that you, but for me, I take psych. Listen, this is what I want. This,
I take it too,
yeah.
but I'm saying is, are we addicted? We're addicted. We are sometimes. I think so. Some of them.
Well,
Some of
hold that
them.
thought. Hold that thought for a minute. You know, because I mean, well, number one, I want to say this is what definitely I wanted this podcast to be about. I wanted it to be about real shit, real stories,
Yeah.
uninterrupted.
I'm saying
So
like Robert, we don't want you to be like the only one. Like you know,
he knows he's not the only one, though.
everybody goes
Oh,
through it, but in different ways. Maybe
E-
different, all different ways.
yeah.
exactly. So let me tell you what I've learned. Right. I've had my bouts of just like what you were talking about of relapsing, coming back. This is what I want this podcast to be about. I don't. So I've been to 6 psych wards and 5 inpatient rehabs, I and countless sober houses. I've been through it. I've seen it, done it, got the T-shirt. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
But it was when I say that I lost who I was in that grip of addiction. It was kind of I don't know how to put this into words. Mm, I
It's like
lost
your inner
myself for
child.
so long that I I literally lost who I was. I didn't know who I was. I was living for other people. I was not living for myself.
And you have
So,
to find yourself again,
right.
you know?
So, I was in a before this what got me into recovery for the last time was I was in this terrible domestic violence relationship where I was beaten, abused, sexually abused, everything you could think of, right? I had everything stripped from me. Everything, money, shit like that. She would even take my medication. So finally, one day, out of 2 days of complete beating, she wouldn't sleep. She would just constantly be beating me, and I'm on the floor throwing up. I'll never forget that. And I for once, let me tell you this, and maybe you can you can kind of get the image in your head.
Oh yeah,
So where I couldn't do anything because I had to refrain from. I was always
mhm.
the one that took the rap. All right.
I
With
was
that
too.
being said, with that
And
being said,
mhm,
all right, that girl held that piece of paper. I couldn't do nothing when I was being
yep,
beaten.
order of protection.
Yep.
I had medication that I was hiding on the top shelf when I was working, and I was taking Alprazam. I was so stressed out. I was getting Toradol shots in my stomach because I had a
Hmm.
nervous stomach because I was trying to mediate being a parent while working because my son's mother was. I thought she had a depression after the birth, but she just didn't like the job market up here. She was from Florida. It was very tough for her,
It
and
is different down there. It is a
it
different way of
is
life.
it's so much harder up here, and she didn't want to, gun ho to it. So
Right.
she just wanted to be a stay at home single mom. I didn't. I said okay. So I got the best jobs that I could, and she would get angry at me because I would hide the Xanax, and she would drink and take the
Mm.
Xanax and be passed out by 11 o'clock, and my son wouldn't make it to daycare. And it
Right.
got to the point where she was like holding my son like a carrot. Like if I didn't give her the drugs, or if I didn't enable her, or if I didn't let
Hmm.
her do what she wanted, I was going to lose my son.
Right.
So I gave in to everything that she wanted, and
Right.
I brought myself
Oh,
into that situation. I enabled it.
I can definitely relate to that. How what brought me out for a couple of reasons that I'm grateful that I'm in recovery today. So let me just say one. When we were fighting that last night, right? And I'll tell everybody the story, and like maybe I can help someone else by telling my story, and like one person at a time. But so we were fighting, and I literally, well, she was choking me. I couldn't breathe, and she held it there for quite a while. And I'll never forget what it was like to fight for your life. I swear to God. Because if she didn't let go at that particular moment, I would have been gone. So what wound up happening was I found the courage to call my mother and waited for my partner at that point to go to sleep. Okay. And she gave me my phone back and everything else. I called my mom and she came right away. The girl went to bed finally. My mom came. I got what I could. I left. That was number one, right? Get myself out of that situation, right?
Mhm.
Um, but there was always a piece of myself that I didn't work on. And while I was with this person, because I took the rap, I had lost my medical license. I
Mhm.
was in nursing for about 20 years. Now, did it make me happy at certain times? Yeah, it's a fulfilling job. But I was grandfathered into that kind of career. It
Mhm.
wasn't what I wanted. So when I left that situation for the last time, um, because my background, I wasn't getting hired. People would deny me employment all the time, right? And I would apply everywhere and anywhere, and I just kept getting denied. So I'm sitting there one day, and I'm in this particular room. This is my space. Welcome. So and I really, really started to think, what was I meant to do on this earth? What is my life's passion? And I had to think. I really had to think, and I went back to childhood. And I remember specifically that one moment I had. My favorite movie will always be, and you can make fun because it's okay, will always be Annie, because that's how I felt. And if it wasn't for that song, Tomorrow, holy crap, man, I don't think I would have lasted. So I started to think about that, and I'm like, well, maybe I can. Maybe I can change my career and get into the film, get into entertainment, you know? And at first, I kind of contemplated because all my life, I've always been told I wasn't good enough. I was ugly. I was fat. My hair wasn't good enough. I was a dyke. I was this and that. It just never ended for me. So no wonder why my confidence was the way it was, right? And why I had so much insecurity. And I really never had that family support. So that day, I said, I'm on this. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to live my life through a lens or through my emotions in the acting, right? But I needed to build up that self-confidence. And for the first time, I actually felt free. And I'll never forget that feeling. Now, number 2 reason why I'm in recovery and still clean today. And it's because of this kid. Let me get the blur out. Hold on. Hold on. Technical difficulty. Okay. There we go. Oh, shit. Hold on. Yes, we can curse on this show because I say so. This is me and my brother. This year, on May 12th, Mother's Day, he was found dead in his room. Look at how he's looking at me. It's coming to his birthday on the 22nd. So, he overdosed and nobody cared to even whatever, But, I swore to myself that I would never go down that path again. But if addiction doesn't just, holy crap, look what you made me do. I blame it on you, Rob.
I'm sorry.
No. It's okay. And it's okay to have emotion. And that's what I'm learning today, though, yo,
So
like,
much.
fuck it. Yeah.
My brother passed away on July 4th, 1991.
I'm so
trying
sorry
to get drug money. He was shot robbing
See what
someone.
I'm saying? It's just not an individual disease. It affects everything and everybody around us.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No.
But there is hope. There is hope for people. And for people like us coming out on the other side, we know that it's possible, right?
Mm.
Now, I want everybody at home or listening, because I'm just going to fucking show it anyway. I don't care. It's my show, and, I do what I want. Hold on. Where am I? Oh, wait, preset. All right, I'm going to share my, my screen. Just hang on. Right here. There's no audio, so I could definitely this is from Narcotic. You can see my screen, right? Okay. So right here is, I don't know if you guys are familiar with it, but this is a life-saving excerpt from the blue text in Narcotics Anonymous. And guys at home who don't believe in Narcotics Anonymous, it's okay. Leave that word out. Because I'm going to tell you right now that when you look at this and when I read it, I hope you feel what I felt for the first time when I read this. When at the end of the road, we find that we can no longer function as a human being, either with or without drugs, we all face the same dilemma. What is there left to do? There seems to be this alternative. Either go on the best we can to the bitter ends. I've been there, jails, institutions, and death. I died spiritually inside. Or find a new way to live. In years gone by, very few addicts have ever had this last choice. Those who are addicted today are more fortunate. For the first time in man's entire history, a simple way has been proving itself in the lives of many addicts. It is now available to us all. This is a simple spiritual, not religious program known as Narcotics Anonymous. But for those of you at home that don't believe in Narcotics Anonymous or, the rooms, just take that last sentence out, because it says that we can recover. There is hope. And this has really brought me through a lot of hard times too. It's just amazing what recovery itself can do. And when you find that light again, and I'm listen, I'm probably gonna throw some names out here that are watching. When I decided to get into this film business, I honestly didn't know what the fuck I was doing. I didn't know how to go about it, what to do, how to network, who to network with. And through going to school, I have met so many beautiful people with being on set, with filming movies, with networking, and for people just giving me a chance. And I don't know if he's still watching, but the name is showing up. And I got to shout out this guy. Okay. And I'm sorry, but you can get mad. It's okay. I could take it. But my man, Corley White, right? If you don't know him, get to know him, get to know his work. This dude right here has been a great mentor, a great leader, and honestly has the biggest heart in this industry that I've seen so far. And I don't think he realizes how much he's done for me. Hopefully, one day he'll come on the show when he's not so busy. But, we'll talk more about what's going on with that later on. But, it's like that, when you get clean and new possibilities arise, lost dreams awaken and new possibilities arise. And that's the beauty part of being in recovery. And, drugs have ruined my life. I was homeless. I was on the street. I've been beaten. I've been raped multiple times, gang raped multiple times. And when you're in that position, you just become more and more worn down and degraded. So I believed that I was that. But you know what? Not today. Not today. Not today, Satan. Not fucking today. Because today we will rise. We will show up. Because my last words on this podcast are going to be, the show must go on. And the best is yet to come. And for those of you that are in recovery, that are feeling lost, you know, there is hope. There is hope. And there is a new way to live. So, you know, today I regained my self-confidence because I certainly wouldn't be fucking doing this shit. Now I don't care. I love the feeling of having remembered how I loved being in front of a camera or the center of attention, and my eagerness to learn. So no matter what, believe in yourself, because those dreams can come true. I'm living mine right now, son. Even if I go no further, I'm living it. I'm living it. And I'm almost done with my bachelor's degree. I'll be done in a year. I'll have my bachelor's degree in film. And I never thought I could accomplish anything like that. I don't have no income. I don't have a car. I really don't have a pot to piss in, to be honest with you. But my soul is fulfilled. My soul is fulfilled. And please, y'all, don't leave before the miracle happens. I thank you very much for everything, Rob. I'm so glad that there'll be more raw and engaging shows, more personal stories. This is what I like to do. Because this shit is real, bro. People are fucking dying. I pray for those who don't know what they're getting into, just using for the first time. And if it's okay with you, Rob and Denny Ann, if it's okay with you, I'd like to end with the Serenity Prayer.
Okay.
Is that okay with you?
Yeah.
Sure.
All right. If anybody that doesn't know the Serenity Prayer, I'll pull it up. Okay. Virginpedia. No. Oh, all right. Hold on. Sorry, guys. Okay. So, I just pulled. No. All right. Hold on 1 second, because hi, Dios. Sorry, guys. I just fucked this up real good. All right. Hold on. Okay. Come on. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Found it. Found it. Let me just make this into another overlay real quick, because I like to get in touch with that spiritual side too. And, you know, whatever your higher power is, it is. You could pray to spaghetti or a doorknob. I don't care, as long as it's higher and more up there, you know, by all means. No, I'm gonna have to share my screen. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. Okay. You ready? It's right here, guys. God, grant me the serenity. Accept the things I cannot change. Courage to change the things I can. And the wisdom to know the difference. Living one day at a time. Enjoying one moment at a time. Accepting hardships as a pathway to peace. Taking, as he did, this sinful world as it is, not as I would have it. Trusting that he will make things right if I surrender to his will, so that I may be responsibly happy in this life and supremely happy with him forever and ever. Amen.
Amen.
And that's, to all you guys that just need a little bit of that spiritual, that soul feeling. It doesn't have to be God or whatever, but that soul, inner soul, and it's possible, man. One day at a time, one moment at a time, 1 second at a time. Listen, reach out. There is help, and you can come out on the other side. There's so much proof. And if nobody told you all today that they love you, I love you.
And I believe in you, Robert. I believe in you.
Definitely.
I believe in you, Jess.
Aw, thank you so much.
You can do it.
Heck yeah. Heck yeah.
Just gotta believe. Believe it.
You gotta believe it. All right. Abso-fucking-lutely. So that's it for this evening's episode of Spark Your Story podcast. Corley, if you're still watching, I need somebody to make a jingle for me. Maybe, we can get some of the people to be like, yo. No, it's cool. Oh boy. I'm trying to end with this and it's not. Oh boy. No. Okay. I think I'm just going to do this.
Oh, nice to meet you, Robert.
Nice to meet you.
This, because this is really cool and I did it and I'm proud of my work. So,
Thank you guys for having me.
Hey, listen. I'm stopping this. Stop. Pause. Okay. I'm going to put us back on the screen. There we go. Rob, thank you so much. And, it means a lot that you came on here. And hopefully we'll get to know more of each other. And, bro, come reach out if you need. I'm always here. I'm glad I met you. And you give me a lot of hope.
Thank you. So do you.
Thank you so much, Rob. It means a lot that you said that. And I'm just so fulfilled in my life today that, it's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. And the way the soul feels when it's right, there's no feeling like it.
Nothing better.
Nothing better, man.
Yeah.
So
no high could be better.
It was 27 days now.
27
27.
days, man.
So
Motherfucker.
maybe in
right.
another 27 we check up on you.
Okay.
See
Oh,
how
he
the
knows
things
I'm
are
gonna be
going.
there. He knows. He knows.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
I know
So,
you're gonna do good.
so that's it. I'm really gonna end this now. Bye, motherfucker. No, I'm just kidding. So thank you for tuning in, and hopefully, you get to watch more episodes. I got a lot of cool shit coming up. Even if there's nobody here to be a guest, I'm the cool shit. So I'm the bomb diggity diggity. Everybody else just along for the ride, y'all along for the ride. I'm kidding.
Yeah.
I can't be that callous, man.
We're here for a good time.
Thank you, guys. You guys have a great night. Okay.
You two, I'm just gonna end this with the countdown,
Mhm.
and thank you so much.
Good night.
No problem.
Night.
Thank you. Good night, guys.
Mhm.
Okay, adding to stage. There we go. There's no sound in this anyway.
No. Need music.